Hello. Happy Monday. We got done with school super early today, so I wanted to share something with you. They're my 6 key habits to crush our homeschool day, and we're going to talk about them. So the first one is have a plan and a loose schedule. I'm doing air quotes for a reason. So I print one of these off every week. I just make these myself. If you want one, they're going to be in my homeschool group and I'll link it. But what I do is Sunday night, sometimes Friday if I'm feeling really spunky, but typically not, is I go through and I write out our school schedule for the whole week. Every day, I will add, we don't do school on Fridays. So Monday through Thursday, we always do math, we always do language arts, we always do Bible time, and then throughout the rest of the week, I sprinkle in writing, history, and science. And then down in the notes section here is some things that aren't necessarily an everyday thing, but they get done just when I sprinkle them in there. So, loose schedule, and what I mean by that is using erasable pens, because I'm the type of person that if it's on my to-do list and I can't erase it, I have to get it done. And I'm not a super big fan of pencils, and because it smears and it's a whole thing. So these are the Pilot Fusion erasable pens. My dog's gonna start whining. Just ignore her. She's fine. I promise you. So they have these eraser tops on them, and if you need to do something where you're not getting something done, just erase it and move it to the next day. Super easy peasy. And that's what I mean by a loose schedule. I write this out, guys, and I'm gonna be real with you. Sometimes we completely skip science, or we'll skip a lesson of language arts, and that's okay because I make the schedule and I know she's gonna get it done regardless. So loose schedule, erasable pens. I got these in a 3-pack, I think, at Target. Before we left Oregon, they were $6. So super affordable. Okay, number 2, I've talked about this before. I love them. Hey Amber. Hey Jessica. So number 2, I've talked about this before. I have a blog post on it, but having the separation of being a parent and a teacher. My husband had came up with this when we first started homeschooling in kindergarten, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. I work from home and I homeschool and I clean, and Farrah and I needed that separation of during school time, I'm not your mom in a sense. I'm teacher. And then any other time I'm mom. And having that separation has really blossomed to really work out for us, because now she knows when we sit down to do school time, she's like, okay, it's school time. Now, I'm here to tell you, there are days where my child is just a little crazy, and I have to remind her a lot of that. But that's where the next one comes in, is wiggle breaks. So I almost said number 2. I did that in my homeschool group too. Number 3 is a lot of wiggle breaks. These can also be referred to as brain breaks. If you're coming from the public school system, you can call them recess if that's what your kids are used to. But we call them wiggle breaks, where she just goes and she does exactly that. She just has her time to wiggle, get all her jitters out, be crazy, do her thing, and I have my time to do what I need to do. I either prepare for the next lesson, I go and I sneak some candy in my bedroom, drink water, literally anything. I'll clean up if I have that much time. But these wiggle breaks are anywhere from 5 minutes long to half hour. It really just depends on what we're feeling that day. And if she's doing something where it's can kind of be considered a school lesson, I'm gonna let her keep doing it. There's days where we'll start doing something and I'm like, oh, this is kind of like a school lesson, and then I just continue to teach her okay, what does this have to do with that? How do you think this happens? I'm gonna be doing a whole other video in my homeschool group on how to make anything into a lesson, because that's the beauty of homeschooling, is all those things. I don't want to get too much into this because it's a whole video in itself, but all those things that you're why didn't I learn how to change a tire in high school? Why didn't they teach me how to balance my checkbook, which you don't really need that now, but Farrah's still gonna learn it. All those things that you just wish that you knew before you became an adult, like doing your taxes, all can be a homeschool lesson. Again, don't want to go into it because that will be a whole other thing. Okay, so wiggle breaks. That was a whole other tangent. Jeez, that's where I stopped. So yes, they get their wiggles out, they do all their thing, and like you gotta have your time, okay? All right, let me see where I'm at. Okay, I'm gonna talk about one more, and the other two are in my homeschool group because I want to keep this video super short on here for you guys. So the last one I have for you is changing locations. So sometimes your kids, like we do school at our dining room table, but during school time it's referred to as the school table. We live in a really small house. For those of you who don't know, like we completely purged everything last November, and we moved it into like a brand new camper trailer, and then we moved to Texas. So that's where we're at right now. Like, yes, our house is huge in a sense, but like we still have to keep things organized, and that's a whole other thing. But changing locations, like we have our school table, we do school on our couch, we do school outside a lot. Again, in Texas we kind of have that leeway, and I know a lot of my friends are in Oregon, so that's not too doable. But if you have like a porch where you can just wrap up with a blanket and go out when it's not super cold. I've even done school like in our bedroom because it's cool to kids to do things where they don't normally get to do them. So changing locations, again, it can be anywhere. You can go to the park, you can sit in the car. Like we go to the beach and we just sit in the car and do school, and on wiggle breaks we get out and we wiggle at the beach, and then we get back in the car and we do school. So again, the other two are in the group. I want to keep this super short because I went through the whole thing, but I linked the group and I'll update it. But yeah, that's how I try to crush it every day. But if you have any questions, please reach out. I know a lot of families are homeschooling and this is all new to them, but just remember you're not alone, and there's people out there who can help you. And it's a crazy year, guys. I'm just gonna say it. It's a crazy year. So reach out if you need help. Check out the homeschool group. I'm gonna have this thing in the files if you are homeschooling, so you can just print it off. It's super easy, and then you just like check them off and erase the stuff you don't need to do. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.